She needs a second date update today. She went on a date with a guy named Adam, and we're going to try to help her out. Hi, Marie. How are you?
Hi, how are you this morning?
Good. Where did you find this Adam?
High school, actually.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, he was my date to senior prom, and I broke up with him a little bit after that, and it went really poorly. I felt bad about it for years.
Oh, wow. How long was it before you ran into him again?
Well, it's been like 6 or 7 now. But I ran into him at a Bengals game, and we started talking, and I apologized, and that was like such a weight off my chest. And we had a really nice conversation.
That's great.
Yeah, like I was attracted to him. It was great. We exchanged numbers. We were texting, and we finally got to go on a date as adults. And he spent the night at my place, but now he's just completely disappeared.
Oh, no. You think this is some kind of payback for the way you dumped him in high school?
That's what I was curious of too. It sounds like a movie, doesn't it?
But I don't think he'd do that. He's never struck me as that kind of guy. And I've known him for so long, and I haven't heard from him for over a week.
So was it weird hooking up with him now versus then?
Were you hooking up with him back then when you were in high school?
Oh, good question. I just assumed.
I mean, we were but teenager version of hooking up. It's not the same.
Yeah. It's adult version.
It's different.
You're better at it.
And it doesn't take, it takes more time.
Or you hope, anyway. Yeah. Plus, it must have been nice to go on a date with a guy who actually owned a car.
That wasn't his parents.
Had a
I've
job.
been doing that for a little while now, but yes.
Yeah. So how did the date end?
He left the next morning. I made him coffee, and we talked, and he was sweet, and he kissed me on the way out the door, and it's been over a week and nothing.
Oh.
Love him and leave him.
That stings a little extra, doesn't it?
Telling you what. Let's take a break. When we come back, we're calling Adam, and we'll see what's going on with him.
Thank you.
I look forward to meeting him. As Second Date Update continues. Date update, but this was a reunion of sorts for Marie and Adam. Actually dated in high school, and Marie said that when they broke up, I guess it didn't go well. Marie broke up with him. Maybe didn't handle it in the best way. So
you never do. Were you? I mean, Jeff,
No.
you've always been smooth, but when you dumped a chick way back,
No.
were you smooth about it, or was it
I was
awkward
terrible
and
about it.
terrible and just?
Well, I would lie. I would say, I don't think I want to be in a relationship right now. And I totally just wanted to see someone else.
Yeah.
You just wanted to hook up with somebody else,
Yeah,
and
totally.
you'd be like,
You'd already
"Oh,"
gone on to the next.
And then when we saw you do that, we were like, oh my God, he's a liar too now.
Yeah, he's a horrible person. I get it. But fast forward 6-7 years, she ran into Adam at a Bengals game, and it was good. She took that opportunity to apologize to him for the way things ended 6 or 7 years earlier in high school. Still felt like there might be a spark there. So they spent the next few days texting back and forth and eventually went on a date. And after all these years, the chemistry's still there because he ended up spending the night.
What do you know? Hello.
And things seemed to be good when they went their separate ways. But here we are now. And would you say it's been a week, Marie?
8 days.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're going to call him
No good
up.
excuse.
I did have the thought that maybe this is his way of getting back at her for the way she dumped him in high school. But who holds on to that stuff?
Some people do, Jeff. You'd
There
be
are some
so
people.
surprised.
Yep.
Well, I hope it's not that, but let's see what he's up to.
Hello?
Hi, Adam.
Yeah.
Adam, it's Jeff and Jenn at Q102. How are you?
Okay.
And Tim and Fritch
Good
from
morning.
Q102, the radio show. You got a few minutes?
Hello.
I do, and I think I know what this is about, and I am sorry.
You're sorry about what?
I can explain the whole situation, and I hope she understands.
I assume you're talking about Marie.
Yes.
Okay.
So I've never gotten over her. She broke my heart in high school.
Yeah.
We were young, but I always thought that we'd be together for a long time. And I was devastated when she dumped me. I was angry for a while, but after all that dust settled, I was just sad about it.
Mm.
So when I ran into her and she apologized to me, that just stirred everything up. And
In a good way,
you know,
I assume?
no, in a great way. That we got together a couple times, and I was all in after that. And I mean, all in.
Yeah, so what
And
happened? You like ghosted. It's been 8 days since she last heard from you.
Well, there's kind of an issue that I didn't tell her because I didn't want to shut down any possibility of us being together.
But?
I had a fiance.
You had a fiance?
Yes.
Until when?
Until recently.
Like within the past 8 days?
But with it, yeah.
Yes, in the last 8 days. It is over now.
And what's her story?
She's in Nashville, and I was planning to move down to Nashville next summer to be with her.
Okay, so once you rekindled this, you decided you were going to break up with the fiance.
Yeah, I went down to Nashville and I told her what's going on here and that I just couldn't marry her. And, so yeah, I'm so sorry that I briefly disappeared to Marie, but I need some time to detangle some things, and it's almost done now.
Well, maybe let her in on it.
Yeah,
we got her on the other line. You can tell her yourself. Marie, you still there?
Yeah, I am. You're engaged. You're just now telling me. I mean, you're not even telling me on purpose. I don't know what to say. You made me a homewrecker.
Well,
How long had you been with her?
A while, a few years, but I was only with her.
Long time.
Yeah, but I was only with her because I never thought I'd ever see you again. Seriously, I know it sounds very, very cheesy, but it's always been you.
Oh, my God.
I have broken up the engagement. It's over. I'm in the clear. I am free to explore a new relationship, which is what I want more than anything.
Okay.
Yikes, though. How do you
Wow.
feel about this? Like, are
Wow.
you okay with it?
I mean, do we all have somebody in our past, like no matter how long ago it might have been, that we felt at that time was the love of our life? And it didn't work out. And you still think about them every once in a while. You've moved on. Life is good. You're maybe even really happy in a new relationship and a life. But that's still there, And what would happen if that person showed up on your doorstep one day? And the chemistry was all there and the magic was all there? I mean, would you be able to walk away from that, or would you blow up your life to be with that person?
There's no way. I immediately think about mine, and I see where he is now versus what I'm doing now. And hell no, girl. We are not getting back ever.
So that's easy for you to
Yeah,
answer.
it is, but it's not easy for everybody, because I think that some people have that, like,
they romanticize it.
yes, they do have that one that got away that has an incredible life, that has the high-rise condo in New York. And what if we would have stayed together?
Or it may have nothing to do with any of that stuff.
Yeah.
That was like a lost
There was
connection.
a connection there that was so powerful.
If we
Yeah.
could
So
just have
strong.
a chance run in like these
Right.
two did at the Bengals game,
Yeah.
you'd know pretty quickly.
Oh, yeah.
But
Whether or
man,
not
to
it was
call
still
off
there.
your life, I feel like
Well, would it be fair to the fiance in Nashville for him to go ahead with it?
no.
Regardless of whether or not this relationship works out, it's become clear that she would at best be a second choice.
Yes.
Totally.
Ah. And would he always be pining and thinking about her while he's with me?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess it's probably good that Adam took himself out of that
Wow.
engagement.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, I don't know, Marie,
Ew.
how you feeling about this now?
I'd be
Not great. This is a lot to take in. I need some time to think about it, and I don't know if I want to talk about it on the radio anymore.
Yeah,
Understand.
Yeah. Get it?
we get that.
I mean, what was your plan to, call her soon and get together with her soon and let her in on all of this? Or were you just going to put the past behind you and leave it there and not even bring it up and just move forward?
I don't even know what I was planning to do, to be honest. I think I was trying to just get rid of this situation and then be able to focus on her, but then this happened.
Like, Marie, would it have been different if, and maybe you can't answer this right now. I know you said you don't really want to get into it now, but I guess my first question would be if he had said to you, hey, I'm in this thing, but now you've got me questioning everything. Can you give me some time? Do you think that would have
that would have
landed
been so different.
Yeah.
It would have respected the woman he just hurt. It would have respected me more. To do this, it's like he deceived both of us.
It just all happened so fast.
Yeah. Dang.
I don't know. From my perspective, I think that you both like each other and he just made way for it to happen. So get at it.
Yeah. Why are you waiting any longer to start your lives
You
now?
already waited 20 years.
Right.
Yeah.
Quit wasting time.
What's that movie line that's like when you realize you want to spend the rest of your life with someone, you
Billy
want the rest of
Crystal.
your life to start right now?
Yes, as soon as possible. Yes, that's Billy
Something.
Crystal when he showed up at the New Year's Eve party and
Yes.
Meg Ryan. It's when Harry met Sally.
That's right.
life
I
is
remember
messy
You
sometimes.
realize. Yes.
we studied that
We had a
movie.
Bengals game.
Yeah, in our interpersonal communication class at NKU, we studied that movie, and I do remember that part of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
cool. All right. Well, we have a lot to think about, don't we?
Yeah.
And I do hope we hear.
Yes.
Let's circle
From
back.
you. Yes.
That's what we'll do.
We'll circle back.
Thank you both for coming on Second Date Update. We truly wish you both the best.
We're rooting for
Whatever
you.
happens. Yes.
Yep.
Thank you.
There's a
Take it
Bengals
easy.
game on Sunday.
All right,
Hello.
Richie, can you put them down for an update, one or more of them
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
for
Make sure we check back in.
May of next year?
Yeah.
May of next year.
I know
Yeah.
it feels like forever.
Let me
Right.
pull up my iPhone so
We
I
have
remember.
the-
Oh,
we
we're
have-
November, December,
yeah.
January, February, March, April, May. Yeah, I mean it's 7 months, 6-7
We
months
always do
from
them
now.
what, like around Memorial
We do
Day,
end of
after Memorial
end
Day?
of November
Yeah, November and May.
and
Okay.
then May. Mm-hmm.
I do have my 2025
Calendar.
at a glance weekly calendar. I'll pencil them in.
Pencil them in.
Okay.
Because we've got our November ones ready to go.
I'm dying to hear how this plays out, though.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Can you go back?
Was there a romance from your young years that you at least sometimes wonder, what if? Because I was fully convinced. There was no doubt in my mind I was going to marry my high school sweetheart.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I thought that was it. Couldn't imagine.
There was no question.
No question. Couldn't imagine ever being with anybody else. Ever.
What happened to you two? I don't think I ever really. Did you just mutually separate?
I would like to hear the story.
Was it
No.
ugly?
It was kind of.
Because I feel like I know how it all started when you were in like 8th grade. But then, I know all these stories about the roadkill, but I never heard the breakup.
the breakup. Well,
Sorry, let me adjust my chair. I
Yes.
want to hear this story.
He's going to settle in.
I'm settling in.
So he got a full ride football scholarship to play at Eastern Illinois University.
And you went to school there too because of it,
did,
right?
Because I put all my eggs in one basket. I wanted to go to the University of Illinois since I was in kindergarten. And then I ended up not getting in. It was like I had all of the requirements, and I got that letter where we have over 300 applicants that are qualified to be accepted,
Yep.
but we only have 100 spaces.
Right.
So they're like, we have to look at we'll let you know later. And then like a month later, I get the letter. Well, sorry, you're not. So
Oh.
then I'm like, oh, crap, where am I going to go? Right. What am I going to do? Because I really didn't have a B plan. He gets this football scholarship to Eastern. I apply, but they had closed admissions.
Oh.
So he told the head football coach that he was not going to take the scholarship unless he could get me in. So the head football coach went to the dean and said, we have this girl and we want her to come and be part of, I don't remember if he told me that he that I was going to be part of the training. I was going to be involved with the football program somehow. And the dean let me in. So I ended up following him to school. And things just got really rough after that first year because he was immediately big man on campus. Like, immediately.
Like the football quarterback.
He wasn't the quarterback.
But he was a stud.
He was a celebrity.
Was a stud.
Especially in a
He's a star.
smaller university.
And a celebrity. And he was a really good looking guy. And he was getting a ton of attention from lots of different girls all over the place. And he got pretty full of himself really quickly. And it became less and less appealing to me. And he was just really arrogant. And the things that he would do, like the entitlement
Turned you off.
It totally turned me off. And so it was Christmas break, sophomore year, when we were home, we were back home. And I'm like, I think it'd be a really good idea if we saw other people.
Oh.
I think, we've only ever dated each other, really.
Yeah.
So you broke up with him.
Yeah, he did.
How did he handle it? Not well.
Not well.
Was
at
he
all.
crying and like,
Oh,
you're ruining my life?
I thought that he was. We were driving. Were we in his mom's car? I think we were in his mom's car, and that was like a Corvette. And we're driving, and he like starts hitting the steering wheel, and I thought he broke the steering wheel.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he was so rattled, and he was just so upset. And we get back to school, and he's calling me, all the time. Is this enough time apart? I don't want to see anybody else, all of that.
So he
Did
never
he ever step out on you?
Yeah, that was going to.
Not to your knowledge.
Not to my knowledge. I think there might have been like a kissing incident with some girl that was.
Were there
like,
rumblings?
He
that
had
he
to have been
was?
eating up the
Kind of.
attention he was getting from all these
God.
other women,
because,
though, right?
we were from such a small town
Right.
that even though he got attention, it was like from a couple of people. It wasn't like walking into the bar and everybody knows you and everybody. It was a lot. It was a lot.
So then you just never talked to him again and he moved on?
No, well,
And you
we
moved
still
on?
went to school together, and it wasn't that big of a school. There were 4,000 students, but not big enough that 4,000 full-time students, not enough that we didn't run into each other. And my parents, he was still close with my parents. They would come and go to games, and I still went to games, and it got it was always kind of weird. But I was close to his family too, so when there were games, I would hang out with his mom and dad and his brother, and
Yeah, that's weird. That's the hard part.
It was weird and it was hard, but our senior year, he got on draft day. I hung out at his apartment for a little while because that's something he had been working for our entire lives. So I remember popping in on draft day, and he hadn't gotten the call yet, and we were just kind of waiting, and I hung out there for a bit, and yeah, it was always a little awkward and weird, but
So when you look back at that and you say, what if we somehow ended up together or stayed together?
I would still be living in Fulton County. I would probably have 4 kids.
If not more.
Right. I don't know what I would have been doing for a living. If anything, probably nothing. I probably would have been a stay-at-home.
Yep. You would have been
Mom.
the PTO and
I
the
probably would
the
have
runner of the children.
and been all caught up in all the small town drama because I never would have gotten away from it.
Yeah. And what's he doing?
What's he doing? He owns his own company. He sells and services copy machines to the universities. Like, he's big.
So he's doing all right.
Oh my God, he has a Ferrari convertible, and he's fine. he's doing quite well.
But he still stops by your parents, right? Doesn't he still kind of sporadically pop by your parents' house?
Mom came home once and he was sitting in the living room.
Yeah.
By himself. There wasn't anybody else home, and he knows how to let himself in. So he went in, and he was just sitting there waiting for them to come home. Yeah, he plays golf. My mom lives right on the golf course. So if he's out there playing golf, he actually saved the golf course was almost going under, and he gave them a huge donation.
Oh.
And I called him after that.
What a big heart.
You know, a few years ago and said, dude, you know, that's really cool.
Yeah. How is that when you talk to him, when you see him? Is that weird? Is there a thing? Is there a spark,
No,
a
there's
flicker,
no
a
thing or
flame?
spark because he's still that guy. You know, he's
He hasn't
he hasn't
humbled at all?
Not really.
No?
And that is the number one thing people
He's
will
still
say to
egoy?
me when they run into him because he just talks about himself all the time.
Oh.
He's like, yeah, you know, I just took the private jet down to St. Louis and Cardinal game, and I sat in the front row right behind home plate. It's pretty cool. Afterwards, I had drinks with the coach, and then you know we've been working on this new contract, and I just sold $1 million contract to Western Illinois University. I'm gonna take that money and you know what I'm gonna do? Yeah, I mean it's all like he wouldn't even ask, you know,
How are you?
how you doing, what's going on.
Yeah.
with
Your
you.
mom
It's all
told
that-
me you're good.
And-
Anyway.
You don't find that hot?
No, no.
Not the way she was rubbing her belly as she spoke. I don't think so.
You know, but
Yeah.
he did say to my mom, when I had a little heart thing about a decade ago, and I had to go in and get an ablation, and he was at my parents' house, and I don't know, he asked him how I was doing, and they told him, and he said, you know, he said, you know, he really broke my heart.
Oh,
Really,
he
just
still feels
really,
it.
Really rocked his world.
All
and
of
told my
Jen's
parents
exes
that.
feel it.
You know, it is true, Jeff. They all do say it. I don't know one. I know there's there.
That's why she has to stay single, so
That's
she doesn't
why.
break any more
I
hearts.
can't devastate
Right.
any more men in this lifetime.
She's loving
And she's the
them.
one that got away, guys.
See?
That's right, Fun Robbie.
See?
Just loving them and leaving them all over the place.
But,
Yeah.
but
We
I'll
got to
tell you
get
what,
you out west. You haven't damaged any hearts
I
out
haven't
there
done
yet.
anything out there. But you know, he's a nice guy and he's generous.
Does he have kids?
And he has a 4 or 5.
Yeah, okay.
And his wife is stunning. I mean,
Yeah.
she's beautiful.
Does she like his ego?
She's very sweet. She seems okay with it.
Yeah.
I mean, from what little I've little time
Isn't
I've spent
that
with her.
weird when you're younger? Because, like, when I was younger, like, I wasn't raised in Hazard, but I loved going back there so much. And I loved, like, this sense of family that was around all of that.
Yeah.
Just how they were all together. And when I had, like, Hazard boyfriend a million years ago. And when I think about what my life would have been like if I would have never went to NKU and stayed there, it just
Life would be, it would probably be great and happy, and it would be small.
Yeah.
Anonymous says, I would totally leave the guy I'm with for the man I want.
I wonder how many people are living that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I
You
would
know,
totally
the
leave
one
the
that got
guy
away.
I'm with for the man I want. Let's see. Someone else asked the question. Because, you know, in response to the second date update, these high school sweethearts, they reconnect now as
Yeah.
adults.
Yep.
She asks a fair question. Is it love or infatuation? Or, are you just in love with the idea of going back to those feelings that you had when you were in high school? Can you go back? Would it be the same thing, I wonder?
Because that was just pure, you know?
It
was
probably
so
would be like Jen. Like,
innocent
yes,
and
it would be
pure,
the same until they started
all-encompassing.
talking, and then you'd be like, oh, yep,
Oh,
this is
man.
why.
Let's
I
see.
remember now.
Anna says this kind of thing happens in Lifetime movies all the
time.
time.
It happens in life. I mean, you'll see stories. You know, they'll meet up when they're in their freaking 70s, for God's sakes, at the 50-year
Oh, yeah.
reunion.
Yeah.
And they
We have
get
those
married.
good news stories like that. Like, they
Yeah.
rekindled after.
Everybody loves
decades.
those stories.
Oh,
right?
here's a happy ending. Jill says, same thing happened to me and my now husband. We dated when we were 14. We went our own separate ways, got married. Each of us had 2 kids. And then we ran into each other 25 years later, and now we're happily married.
Look at that. It happens.
Look at that.
So we'll see.
Yeah, Laura says, sorry, there's no way I can wait until May to find out what happens with Maria and Adam.
Well, we got to give them some time, too.
Yeah.
I mean, this is fresh. Don't you want to know what happens
Oh, yeah.
in the long run? I mean, short run. If we check back in next week,
And they're
Yeah.
still in
They
La
would
La
I've been
Land.
scared. Like, what if we talk to them and they're like, oh, she was horrible.
right?
Or, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I like just not knowing.
Jonathan said, hey,